Hello everyone, welcome to my stream today. Hope you're all well. I'm going to finish off this buffalo and see how it finishes really. Hi Stephen. Hope you're well. So I'm going to finish off this buffalo. I've done basically the whole of the face. I'm going to start on the nose, make that pop out. And then I'm going to sort of finish off this bit. Yeah, I'm good today. Thank you for tuning in. And then I'll do some detailing around here to make the leaves a bit more defined. I might do something over here. I quite like how the background is. It's very rough and ready. Clearly shows paint marks. Shows I haven't put much effort in. But the rest of it is looking fairly detailed. I might do something around the body. I'm not sure. I quite like that effect. This is more stylized than my usual type of painting. It's not super realistic. I think it looks quite good. I really like this eye. I'm not a massive fan of this eye. I don't know why. This eye looks like it's more bulgy. This one doesn't quite. So I might sort of play around with that today as well. Finally finish off. I think the buffalo's eyes are looking a bit sad. Which is quite a nice look. It's got pondering. It's pondering its choices, I guess. So essentially what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with the nose today. I'll just zoom in so we can see that a bit more clearly. Then yeah, so you can see it's very blue, very light blue at the top, reflecting off the sky. There's a nice bit of texture around here. The nostrils, which I've already basically done the colour. I'll treat them a bit like I do with eyes, with the reflections. And make sure there's a nice sort of shape to the nose. Currently the shape's a bit wrong. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So I'll start from dark to light as usual. So I'll put the Payne's Grey on my palette. Hi Izzy. So I'll put Payne's Grey on. I need to put some white on. I've once again totally forgotten to put the lid on, so hopefully it comes out nicely. Yeah, came out fine. I'll put some blue on, because there's definitely some blue in there. Some oranges as well, which I'll probably do a little bit later on. I'm going to use burnt sienna for the sort of orangey browny colour. Got vermilion, but I'm not going to use it quite yet. There's probably a bit of yellow ochre around here, which I will use. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So first of all, I'm going to sort of do the light bit above it. I haven't actually got the right colours for that at the moment, so this will be yellow ochre. It's just very, very lightened colour, sort of yellow ochre, but with a fair bit of white. I'm just going to mix that in. Going to grab a little bit of Payne's Grey as well, just to add that sort of like grey background colour there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw or paint sort of shape of this top bit of the nose. Use my finger to rub it in a bit. I think I just got a message, but I can't see it, so I need to set this up. Because I'm streaming on multiple platforms, I may get messages, but I can't necessarily see them all. So if that was you, I'm really sorry. I need to work out how to fully set up my streaming platform. So there you go, you can see the top of the nose now, sort of the furry bit up there. I'm actually going to do some up here as well. Blend it in a little bit. So this is, as I said earlier, this is a slightly more stylized painting compared to what I usually do. It's not really full detail, full realistic detail. Then again, I don't like copying the image exactly. It's definitely not my style. I feel if you do copy the image, then I don't know what's the point. You got a photograph of it. So I'm sort of blending in the light bit that I just painted. A bit of Payne's Grey on the edges. So that's sort of fur around there. I guess that same sort of, possibly a slightly darker version of what I just did. Comes down through here. That's far too light. So I think the nose is going to be the most important part of this painting. I usually say the eyes, but in this case, because the nose is so prominent compared to what the eyes are, I think I really have to get the nose right. As I say, I'm not necessarily totally going with photorealistic accuracy, but it just needs to pop and sort of explain, add the personality within the photo, within the painting. I'm just painting on the dark bits first, and I'll go on to the light later on, and then I'll do a lot of highlighting on the nose. There'll be touches of white, touches of really, really bright blues. I'm just drawing the outline of the nostrils here. Because what I need to do, I need to create a much lighter grey colour. Find the edges of these nostrils. It's a bit darker than that. I'm getting chat notifications, but I can't see the chat, so I really do apologise if I'm not seeing it. I'm going to test this chat out. See if you guys can see that or not. I don't know. As I say, if you're sending me chats and I can't see that, I do apologise. I need to fix that. Where was I? Painting on the dark bits of the nose so I can go lighter. So for those of you that follow me regularly, well, I haven't actually streamed very regularly recently, you'll know that I'm very much a dark to light painter. So I paint the shadows and then have the highlights on top. I feel that's far more natural than doing it any other way. I did take the photo. I took it back, I think, in around 2009, maybe? It was one of the first photos. I bought a 500mm Sigma, well, it's 50 to 500 Sigma lens. And it was one of the first photos I ever took with that lens. Still use that lens, it's very good. It's getting a bit rattly though, and I don't really know how to fix it. Thank you. So, I don't remember taking this photo very well. I know where I was. But it was one of those things where you sort of snap something, don't think much of it, and then you look at the photos afterwards. And then realise, wow, that's actually really quite a nice photo. I didn't really have a... Some photos you know are going to be good when you take them. Others you don't really, just snap away and see what happens. I feel like this was one of those moments where I didn't really know 100% what it was going to be like. Just doing the dark bit of the nose. Right, now I'm going to move on and get some of my burnt sienna out. This is going to add the brown into the nose. I'm going to scrunch it in. Scrunch is a technical term for using your finger. It's not, it's going to be. So I've kind of created the dark bits now, and I'm going to move lighter. I have to confess, I don't really know how to use film cameras. Yeah, I've never used one. I know one of my colleagues has just bought one. He plays around with it a lot. Got some very nice results there. I think digital SLR photography, which is obviously what I do, is cheating. I've always thought this. The reason I think it's cheating is because you can take 1,000 shots and you only can keep 2. Did a 12-week night class to learn how to use it. Yeah, there's so much added dimensions on using, I guess, with not non-digital, so film photography. I wouldn't have a clue where to start. I think the principle's the same. I think the settings, the exposure, the aperture, focus, sort of composition, they're all the same principles. It's just you only have a handful of chances. If you're only going to get 30 shots out of a film, you've only got 30 chances of a good photo without changing the film. Whereas with a DSLR, you can take thousands on a day. It doesn't really matter. So you have to pick and choose. You're more of a sniper with a much more like a sniper technique. Yes, the light does have to be right. And that's true of anything. Although, I shoot very much underexposed. So on the camera screen it looks really, really dark. And then the software, the reason I do that is because I get lower ISO, which gives you less noise. And then I allow the software to change the exposure. And that works really well. Get a really detailed picture with the post-processing. I learned that technique. I don't know how I learned that technique, whether someone told me or I just decided to do it. But that's how I always shoot now. I shoot really dark, just so I get more detail. So I try and shoot at ISO of like 100. I guess I don't know. You probably don't have ISOs on film cameras, do you? I don't really know what ISO is. I just know it makes it less grainy the lower it is. More detailed. Paint's drying really quick today. Oh, the film has the ISO rating. How does that work? So you have to choose what light you're going to shoot in before you go and take the camera there? Or do you just have a bunch of different ISOs on the film? Do you carry a bunch of different films? Sounds way too complicated for my little brain to handle. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, I guess the principle's the same with digital. I don't really know how it works. How the sensor works. I guess it's the same. You just reduce the sensor sensitivity, or light reactivity in DSLRs. So the Nikon D7500, which is what I used recently. I used to use a D7000, but the D7500. So this was shot on a D7000. Might have been a D60. I don't know if it was D60 or D7500. I could check. I suspect it's D7500. No, it's D7000, sorry. This one. So Yeah, the ISO goes up to, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of the menu camera. 256,000 maybe. So you can imagine you've only got 4 times ISO with film. I don't know if it's the same, but with a DSLR you get. What I'm trying to say is there's less skill in a DSLR. And to be honest, everyone gets their phones out these days and just magically creates stunning photos. Okay, so that's that colour done. I'm going to go one step brighter now. I'm going to cheat in a bit, by the way. I'm going to use a white paint pen. To get the real highlights in. Need to put the blue on as well. I think that works quite well now. And then I just need to it's looking a bit weird. I think what I need to do, right, let's do this. Let's get that blue on. Get quite a wet blue wash. And I'll put it over the top here. See if this makes a difference. No, that's not making a difference. Have a light white blue wash. I've kind of missed the blue by the look of it, but I'll come back and do that. Actually comes down a bit, to be honest. I think I've got that wrong. Probably got that one wrong as well, actually. I think I'm going to change the shape of the nose. It's down like that. This one also does the same thing. Right, now I can get the blue wash. It's going to go pretty much very blue. Guess that looks alright. Bit of yellow ochre going on as well, so let's just grab that. Put that down there, rub that in. Few very dark bits as well up here, so I'll just do them and get a bit more detail in there. I'll work on the nostrils in a bit, but I think that's most of the nose done, apart from the bright white specks. Now, I was going to use a paint pen, but actually, I think just using a brush probably going to be better. That looks weird or not. That does look a bit weird, to be honest. Let me tone it down a little bit with the paper towel. Put a bit of blue on it. Just over the... toning down those little shiny bits. You probably can't pick this up on the camera, can you? This will be a pixel wide, these little dots. I think it looks alright. The nostrils need work. It's one of the issues I've got here. Just grabbing some Payne's Grey, tiny bit of white, too much white. Paint is really drying quickly today. I might get some of the Mars black colour out to really define those nostrils a little bit more. Step back and have a look. Yeah, I think it looks alright, that nostril. Or that nose. Still need to work on the mouth bit, but... No, I don't do any work on the painting between streams. This particular painting, you'll definitely be able to see the whole... every second of the painting. Just wants to make that eye bulge a bit, which I think I've just done. I occasionally paint, well, I do paintings not on streams. But this painting, no, I haven't done anything. If occasionally I'll do a boring bit, so if I've got a little bit of background to finish off because the painting's wet, I might just do that. I don't really... I use the streams to convince me to paint, if that makes sense. So I'm quite a lazy person. Thank you, Phoenix Markers. I really appreciate that. Basically, for those on YouTube, some Phoenix Markers are saying that they appreciate the art that's not digital. And the mixing of paint creates its own atmosphere. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm struggling to get any traction at all on Twitch. All, as you say, most of the art on Twitch is digital. I do think I'm a bit worried about this whole AI thing when it comes to art. Because very quickly you'll be able to generate paintings via AI. And I'm sure it's not beyond the realms of possibility to get a machine to hold a paintbrush and get like this. But saying that, there's going to be a unique style, isn't there? But we'll see. I want to actually make a go of it like professionally. I only started painting last year. certainly see what actually happens. I think the leaves are too low. Maybe they're not. Must be more faded out regardless. Let's do this. Get a slightly bigger brush. Yeah, Steve, I mean, the thing is, right, AI will never be able to duplicate the feeling of a painting, the touch, how the shadows fall on the painting. So, with my painting, there's texture. Yeah, okay, we will get a machine that does paintings, but they won't be able to... There's going to be a limit on the size of the brushes, on the stroke. You'll never be able to fully... Certainly in my lifetime, I don't think fully replicate a human hand in terms of painting. Yeah, so yeah, artists don't just need to make what consumers want. I mean, yeah, it'd be lovely if I sold paintings. I have sold paintings. But saying that, people have bought paintings from me because of the expression I put in the paintings. So the expression in these eyes, for instance. I may go back and do some more of these eyes, but there's definitely a... I've tried to create a personality of this, of the buffalo. And the sort of contemplation of trying to sum up what it can see. I think cows in general, or buffaloes or whatever, they have quite sad eyes. So yeah, having that personality is, I think, is really what I try and do. Yeah, AI can't imagine or innovate and never will. It just takes what people have done and sort of redoes it. So you're right, it won't ever be able to fully create its own unique stuff. It doesn't have independent thought. I find this top lip quite difficult. One of the things I do with my painting is I use my finger an awful lot. I don't know, I feel like it rubs in the paint quite nicely. I don't... Yeah, if AI takes over, we will lose cultural diversity and cultural, the identity and creativity. But if you think about it, 10 years ago, bookshops were basically disappearing because Kindle came along. People were reading them online. People have gone back to reading books now because they like the tactile feel of the pages, the smell of the book. I think anything's going to have cycles like that. I guess a bit like there's a political cycle. So even if AI does start to get traction when it comes to art, it will come back. It was only like 10 years or so that the Kindle came out. People are now going back to books. They're buying physical books. So I think the same will happen with art, to be honest. People will go back to what they used to do. At the end of the day, we're human beings. We are culturally diverse. Culture is part of who we are. We're not robots. And even if art does take a hit because of the AI scene or the digital scene, we still appreciate beauty and texture and smells. See, as art's all about multiple senses. And digital art is fantastic, don't get me wrong. There's things that people do there that I think is absolutely outstanding. But in terms of the emotional response to digital art, I don't think it could be the same as a really, really nice, beautiful painting like this. I need to stop looking at the reference image. I'm losing my individuality by doing that. I don't know whether to do anything about this bit down the bottom. I quite like it as it is. No, I don't. I agree. Art won't die out. I mean, I would hope this painting, for instance, will last longer than I do. Whether it's someone's attic or whether it's on a wall in a gallery, I don't really care. As long as somebody's going to appreciate it at some point. At some point, maybe in 100 or 200 years, somebody's going to pick up this painting, even if it's in storage, thinking, oh, that's quite I like that. And it'll give somebody hopefully a moment at least of reflection, thinking, just understanding what was going through my mind when I was painting this. And as I say, my journey to art was not perhaps what you would expect. The reason I started my art was quite simply, I knew at school I was quite good at it, but my grandmother died in March last year. And I thought, you know what? I was a bit bored, I was a bit down at the time. My mental health wasn't great. But why don't I just try and paint her? Because I knew I could paint, as in school I was pretty good at painting. I thought, why don't I just try and paint her? And I did. And it came out really quite well. And yeah, so I continued. And I'm going to keep continuing. And I would quite like to paint for the rest of my life. And if people are going to appreciate my paintings, then amazing. Just adding a bit of texture down here. I think it's a bit lacking at the moment. So I'm in that sort of phase where I'm not really looking at the reference image at all. I'm just going through, just trying to do what I think is going to look nice. Because to be honest, I suppose I have used the reference image. The colours are a bit more vibrant on my painting compared to... So 2026 is when I really feel like I'm going to focus on my art far more than I ever have done. I feel that's going to be the changing point of my life. I'm going to focus on just focus on it because it's something I really enjoy and something I really want to do. Just adding a few highlights in here just to create some interest points. Thank you, Phoenix. Yeah, to be honest, my grandmother, she was very old, my grandmother. She was 97 when she died, so she had a good life. I don't know why, I genuinely don't know why it kicked me into doing painting. But it really did help me with my sort of mental health. Very quickly, actually, it got me out of pretty sad times, I guess. Thanks, Evergreen Academy. Stephen, the hardest part of any creative product is where to start. Yes, I agree with that. Choosing a photo for me to paint is actually quite challenging for me. One of the techniques I use to get started is just get started. It doesn't matter if it goes wrong. The great thing about art, it doesn't matter if it goes wrong because you don't have to punish yourself. It doesn't really matter. If it goes right, it's amazing, but if it goes wrong, you haven't lost anything. a bit of time, but you've learned on the process. So yeah, I agree, it is quite difficult to get started. But at the same time, for me, it's getting started is part of the... It's quite exciting because you have no idea how it's going to turn out. Like this painting, for instance, I thought it was going to be a challenge for me to get it how I wanted it to look. And yes, I guess it is a challenge to some extent. It's done really well. I learned German at school, Phoenix, and I'm not going to go live on stream and trying to say words, but don't worry. I'm sure your English is extremely good. Every German I've ever met has amazing English. Should have thought. I don't think I painted the bottom of this painting. Oh, that's one thing I'll do off stream, Stephen. I'll turn the painting upside down and paint the bottom, so the edges. Responding to your question earlier, if I do stuff between streams. There's nothing more annoying when you're going to seal something and then you realise you just left the edge. The reason I paint the edges is because well, one, it looks nicer. Two, it's actually much easier to frame it if you've got the edges done, because you can do a floating framer all the way around. That bit's done. I think it's just the background now, to be honest. Might put a bit of a whitewash around here to use one of my strange techniques. So I have a really old stiff brush, which is pretty useless. But I quite like it because I can like scratch into the canvas. I don't know if you can hear that, but it makes a scratching sound. Quite therapeutic. And it creates this quite nice texture as well. Do it quite a lot for fur and stuff. I'm going to do it down here because it's slightly lighter down here. Ooh, it's a bit too much. Let me rub that out. I'm just adding sort of highlights on the fur by doing this. A bit more highlight up here. So I think the buffalo itself is actually finished. Maybe. What I think I'll do now is focus on the background, or the foreground actually, the leaves here. Make them a bit more defined. So my plan is to make everything else all like out of focus, as it were. But I'm going to really concentrate on a few leaves here, if I can, to make them in focus. Hopefully that will add depth. Because right now, the buffalo's sticking out. I'm hoping if I can create focus, put more focus here, maybe starting about here, it will create a much nicer, interesting composition. Sorry, I was going to do something. What was I going to do? I'm going to add that crease in there. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a break for 10 minutes and I'm going to wash the palette, and then I'm going to finish off by just doing this area here in the background. So I need to change palettes because it's completely the wrong one. Thank you, Felix, for the follow. I appreciate it. I'm just going to put the stream on BRB. I'll keep the stream running. So I'll be there, and I'll be about 10 minutes. I appreciate the follow. Thank you very much. Hello. I am back. So as I said, I think the buffalo's pretty much finished, to be honest. It's just this area here, the front, that I'm gonna play with and try and bring more colours into. Make it focus, create the occasional leaf which is really sticking out. I think to do that I'm gonna create some shadows first, and we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna grab my Payne's Grey for the shadows. So for those of you who haven't followed me painting before, you will know that Payne's Grey is basically my favourite colour. It's not quite black, really nice. Just a really nice colour to work with. So all I'm doing is just painting in shadows. It's going to look a bit weird, to be honest, until I paint over them with the green. Good thing today, my paint's drying pretty quickly, to be honest. So that's quite useful. I'll be able to paint over these shadows pretty quickly. I'm going to add a bit of white now onto the palette so I can mix some, oops, a bit wild. So I can mix some Payne's Grey into and try and mimic the background colour of this. Doesn't really have to be perfect. The reason is it doesn't have to be perfect is because obviously the star character are the leaves, not the buffalo itself. So even if you have the hint of the right colour, I'm going a bit darker now. So I'm going to work around this base and then sort of see where to go from there. I guess, so I've done that. I guess what I'll do is I'll probably draw around the leaves with a sort of smaller brush. Sorry, just replying to a message there. So I'll create the leaves with the brush. I'll find a sort of green to do that with. I don't know where all my small brushes have gone. Doesn't really matter in this case. Alright, so I'm going to grab I'm going to do the outline in Hooker's Green. Am I going to do it in Hooker's Green? Yeah, I'm going to do it in Hooker's Green. And then I'm just sort of going to draw from there. I'm not going into the full detail that's in the image, obviously, because that'll take me forever. But I am just going to sort of make sure it makes sense, as it were. So this is just the outline for now. It's a holiday in Germany. It's today in the UK. As you can see, I'm basically just totally making this up as I go along, making it look a little bit floral. Floral or leafy, I don't know what the word is. Don't know how well you can see what I'm actually doing here. As I say, you probably can't see very well what I'm actually doing here, but I'm just drawing the outline of the leaves. Just so I can fill them in later on. Music's very atmospheric today. So I'm trying to make all the dark bits have a hard edge. The reason for that is I don't want to... It'll look a bit weird if the dark bits don't have a hard edge, I think. You're like, well, how is that shadow appearing if it doesn't have the hard edge? I don't know if that made any sense at all, but it did in my brain. So there'll be areas of quite a lot of shadow. Okay, so that's all the leaves in the foreground done, I think. Maybe another one or a couple up here. So now I'm going to put the other colours on the paper, on the palette, sorry. So I've got Hooker's green already. I'm going to put some emerald green, but I'll use that sparingly because that is a very bright green. I'll obviously put yellow ochre. And then I'll just sort of go along and see what happens. No real plan to this. I probably won't mix colours because I don't tend to mix colours in general on the palette that much, other than making them lighter and darker. I'm just putting various greens, yellows, a bit of burnt sienna there. That's an awful yellow, that. This is what, lemon yellow. Get a bit of deep yellow in there. And I'm going to use a fairly decent sized brush. So this is number 1. I might go even as high as a number 3. I think I've got one. It's a 3. I'm basically going to go leaf by leaf. Start off with a slightly darker one. Bit yellow ochre in that, I think. Be a bit burnt sienna. That's what I plan to do. I've never really painted leaves, if I'm perfectly honest. This is what I plan to do. I don't know if you can even see that, to be honest. Might be a bit of a boring part of the stream. I'm just going to go through each leaf individually. Let's fill it in with various colours. Mostly trying to keep the main colour greens. That one looks a bit fake. I don't like the emerald green, it's not very realistic. And right at the end I'll do some highlighting. Maybe some shadows as well, actually. So that's quite a nice highlight colour, so I might use the lime, what is it? The pale olive towards the end. This is what I mean by leaves that are in focus, like a lot more detail. I'm just using the same brush and just mixing more on the canvas than I am on the palette. Giving the leaves a bit of highlighting. I'm exploring as I'm going. I haven't got really any method or plan to this. Don't know how well you can see that on the stream, but I'm getting there. Step back and see how that looks. I think it looks alright, to be honest. I plan to bring them a bit lighter as they come forward. Whether I'll succeed is a different matter. I think somebody just messaged me again, but I didn't. I can't see it, so sorry if they did. I'm doing my quite common technique of just mixing the paints on the canvas. Rather than the palette. Oh, I didn't want to use that green. Maybe on a slightly bigger brush. Mainly because I'm impatient. I quite like this effect. The leaves are quite dark at the moment, but as I say, I'm going to try and bring them a bit brighter as they come forward. There's no mistaking what they actually are though, so that's good. You step back and look and realise they actually look like what you're trying to paint. Hi, Amalia. How are you? You enjoying my painting? I hope you're loving it. Maybe it'll inspire you as well. I'd love to share my art journey with people. I've never seen your art, Amalia. Maybe you'll have to show me. I like these leaves. I think they're coming out really nicely. As I say, I'm trying to make them lighter as I come forward so they pop out a bit. And then I'll finish off with the ones around the mouth. I think that'll be basically the end of the painting after I've done that. So another sort of maybe 30-40 minutes. Been a really good stream today. Thank you everyone who's watched. Continue watching until the end. And I will have finished this painting. So this will have taken me, I don't know, 6 hours in total? Slightly longer? People are quite often interested in how long my paintings take. I don't want to touch this bit yet. I'll work over here. get quite a sore back when I paint quite often, especially when I'm down low. I'm up here, I'm fine. I've never been able to like paint sitting down either. Maybe I will try actually. Again, I've never been very good at it. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm actually using, although the base colour is green, I'm actually using very similar colours to what I used up here. So I've got the yellow ochre, the burnt sienna. They're both the highlight colours of the leaves, which makes it all feel like a natural sort of scene. You've got the colour inference from here down to here. So it should make it feel very, very part of the sort of whole the painting. So they're not separate. The leaves are really, really part of the scene. They're not just plonked on top. So one of the things you don't want to do, I guess, when you're painting is have a painting that's not very cohesive and doesn't work well together. So using the yellow ochres, the burnt siennas, is really going to help. And I love this sort of olive green, or light olive green. I don't know, pale olive, wasn't it? Just to bring the highlights of the leaves up. I'm probably going to put a little bit of blue on the leaves as well. Once it's dried, as a bit of a wash, just to bring the sky back into the picture. There's a feature I did up here. There's quite a lot of blue in the whole painting, so I'll bring some blue back into the leaves as well. I think so far what I've done here is really nice. It's taken me a while though. I've just been using burnt umber, not burnt sienna. I've just changed to burnt sienna, I think. For the front leaves, certainly, I think burnt sienna will work a bit better. I hope that bit of focus I've got here is really sort of bringing the depth into the painting. I think I prefer the burnt umber, to be honest, not the burnt sienna. Go back to burnt sienna, burnt umber, sorry. Very similar, but I guess it's slightly less orangey. Anyone's actually paying attention to this still. This must be extremely boring, this part of the painting. Just painting the leaves over and over again. This is very repetitive. I'm going to go into the big brush again here. Because actually I want to go back into the sort of less obvious. This bit's going to be slightly out of focus as well, I guess. Just grab some yellow ochre. I only really want the focus to be in front of the buffalo itself. So down here it should be. I don't really mind if it's not focused. I might change my mind after I've looked at it and seen it's not worked out as well as I thought it would. Yeah, I guess that bit's a bit more less in focus. Just bringing the sort of eye towards the buffalo again. And actually I'm going to continue this technique down here. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, it's so the idea of this painting is a bit like the image, I guess. Your eye, depending where your eye hits the painting, usually your eye hits at the eyes. But actually, the whole point of the painting is to come up here, and it tells the story from down here up to here, in my opinion. Or you sort of follow it down towards the edge. So having the smaller number of leaves in the foreground here, which are in focus, I think really does help the painting out. So now I'm moving on to the real focus. It's the focal point of the painting, which is the leaves that the buffalo is eating. I'm going to add a bit more detail on these leaves than I have the rest. I need a smaller brush to do this, but thank you. And I'm getting those mystery sounds where I think somebody's chatted, but I can't see it. love to know what they actually are. I'm trying to define these leaves a little bit more, so I actually give it some leaves rather than a bodge of green. I think the yellow ochre will come in very handy for this. Right, I'll do the yellow ochre now. Hopefully. So I'll redo the top lip in a sec, so it's all flat and straight. That'll be the last sort of part of the painting, I think. I'm not convinced by these leaves, but I haven't put the sort of brightish green colour on it, the olive green colour yet. I think they need separating out a little bit. Maybe the light green colour will help. So I'll put the highlights on. I do need to step back and actually have a look at what this looks like. I'll try some Payne's Grey on this just to see if I can get the bit more detail in here. And blend it in a bit. Right, I'm now going to try to focus a little bit on this branch, or this twig, or this stick, or whatever you call it, stem, I think. Just separate out the leaves a bit here. Done that thing where I've lent on the painter. See if I can wash it off rather than paint over it. Let me see what that looks like from a distance. Yeah, it looks alright. I mean, I'm not that pleased with this, but let me keep going and try and add some bit more definition into the leaves. Almost if the leaves are entirely the wrong shape. Probably are the wrong shape. I mean, I didn't exactly put much effort into it. Just tidying up the leaves here, I don't think. I think the original shape of the leaves were not very good. To be fair, that now looks like a tongue. Make it not look like a tongue in a sec, though. To be honest, it doesn't really matter if it looks like a tongue. I think that looks alright now. I think that needs to be a bit brighter though. Get some yellow ochre on there. And as I said, the last thing I'm going to do is go around with blue paint and infer some colours. Doesn't quite pop. Right, now I'm going to do the top lip, which is going to be a line of Payne's Grey over the top. Yeah, I think I've got there in the end, to be honest. Looks alright. I'm going to go through and add a few highlights to the leaves. And as I said, I was going to go through and do a bit of blue. Bit to reach the end of the playlist. Good timing because I'm about to finish. So I hope you have enjoyed this stream. I've enjoyed it. I think it was a really good one. And yeah, I don't know when I'll next be streaming. Travelling on Friday. So it might be a couple of months. Then again, I might do it while I'm travelling. Got all the technology to do it, so you never know. Just keep an eye out. Anyway, I think that's finished. I'll have a wee look at what's I'll have a wee look at it sort of away, as I do with everything. Maybe do a couple of highlights here and there, but I think essentially the whole painting's finished now. So, thank you for joining me. It's been a really good stream. In 2.5 hours. So yeah, awesome. I'm happy with this. Maybe a bit more highlighting down here. Maybe some there. But yeah, I'm really happy with this painting so far. Well, it's finished now, I think. So yeah. Let me know what you think in the comments. Tell everyone about me and how awesome I am. Joking, obviously. You can if you want, but... So yeah. That's my painting finished. I'm going to have some dinner now and... yeah, go from there. Awesome. Alright, thank you very much. I shall see you all very soon. Thank you for joining me.